Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Today we are continuing this series of videos about what has helped me to be successful on a long-term vegan or plant-based diet for the last 16 years. And if you've watched past videos or vlogs of mine, you've probably noticed I'm a creature of habit. Social media algorithms really glorify extreme stuff. Extreme diets, extreme habits, extreme glow-ups. But as everyone knows, including the people who are doing this crazy stuff, extremes aren't sustainable. And oftentimes they can end up doing way more harm than good. And sometimes they conclude by realizing, uh-oh, I'm in a cult. Again. So in my 20 plus years in the health and wellness space, I have seen some pretty wackadoodle trends come and go. And I've tried some of them. Don't get me wrong, I've tried some of them. Usually much to my regret. Financially, emotionally, physically. But fortunately, within the last 10 years, I have settled into a pattern of simple consistency, or consistent simplicity, depending on how you want to phrase it. And I believe that's been a major reason why I've been so successful long term. I haven't gotten sucked up into a lot of these trends that have ended up, I think, causing people a lot of physical damage. Because great health is not built on a foundation of extremes. It's built on a foundation of day in and day out, simple consistency. And so that is our tip for today. KISS. Keep it simple, sweetheart. And after trying a lot of diets over the years, I have found that a simple whole plant food diet is the easiest to sustain for long term. I took a long hiatus from YouTube, and during my time away, my diet became even simpler. Less fancy recipes, fewer exotic or hard to get ingredients. My days and my meals are a really easy rhythm of a few different varieties of beans, a few different varieties of whole grains and vegetables and fruits and herbs and spices that all just kind of get rotated and combined and recombined. And I think a lot of people reflexively think, oh my gosh, that sounds so boring. And I get it. I went to culinary school. I was a big foodie. I expected food to be like entertainment, a distraction, my primary source of pleasure. But after so many years of really struggling with my weight and my physical and mental health, I have come to the conclusion that nourishment is not supposed to be entertainment. Nourishment is not supposed to be some kind of distraction from what's happening inside your body and mind. And yet that is how our society uses it, to distract us from our physical and emotional discomfort, from this sense of dread that I think we all have, the fear and the anger and the sadness that we are just not allowed to express. And so we're taught to use food, to use our meals as entertainment, as distraction, as a way to go numb. And it does its job, and it's good. Like, God knows the food is yummy, the meals are exciting, and the anticipation of the next meal, your next fix, is of course exciting. But does it ever last? Does it ever work? After the first few bites of really hyper-palatable, overstimulating food, do you feel good? I know I never did. But these foods are designed to be addictive, and it's even easier to be addicted to them when we're in a chronic state of calorie restriction, where we're trying to diet to do the right thing so that we can maintain our weight or lose weight. But when we don't have enough calories, our minds become even more fixated on food. But when we're able to transcend all of that and instead choose a life of simple but total satiation, it feels totally different. When you are fully nourished by simple whole plant foods, by all the whole plant foods you desire, when you have that capacity to be comfortably full and fully present with your entire body and mind after every meal, you realize that eating the same old, repetitive, boring whole plant foods is like pleasantly understimulating in the best way. And because your body doesn't feel like crap after you ate them, it actually provides this incredible sense of really nourishing pleasure that leaves us feeling light and vibrant and totally satiated. So nowadays, I eat a really simple diet. I don't have a ton of fancy recipes that I make on a regular basis. My meals aren't ornate. They're not works of art. They're just really functional, delicious, consistent sources of nourishment. And because I have lived the other ways, I know what I'm missing. I had the really fancy, high-end foodie life of a trained chef. I had access to the best ingredients in the world. And I've also been someone who ate a bunch of junk food. And I've been someone who was hyper-focused on creating a really ornate, healthy diet. Someone who wanted to do all the right things, to soak all my beans and grains and nuts and seeds and pre-plan my whole diet and make these ornate recipes and plate them so beautifully and perfectly to make them incredibly appealing. And while that was lovely, and I'm glad I had those experiences, it wasn't sustainable. It was actually really exhausting and expensive. So truly letting go of all of my ornate expectations and coming back to consistent simplicity or simple consistency with my food has been the best choice I've ever made for being on a long-term vegan or plant-based diet. And that goes for what I drink as well. I don't have any super expensive water filtration set up. Nothing's alkalized. There's no molecular hydrogen, even though I've really racked my brain trying to figure out what other kind of hydrogen there could possibly be except a molecule. I use a couple of drops of the same old electrolyte supplement that I've been using for 10 years. And I drink a couple of kinds of tea because I like the way they taste and I like antioxidants. It doesn't have to be more complex than that. And with that simplicity in mind, I am going to go prepare us a delicious whole plant food breakfast. I will see you after. And my love of simplicity isn't contained to just food. My movements, my exercise routines have become really simple and dialed in over the years. When I think about a lot of our popular transformation narratives, a lot of them are really extreme. I was an alcoholic, but now I run ultra marathons. I used to be scrawny, but now I'm an Olympic power lifter. With a line of protein powders to sell you. I used to be depressed, but now I cold plunge every morning in Antarctica while barely breathing. That is a lot to take in. And I don't want to poo-poo on people who are just objectively more impressive than me. But for every one of them, there are 100,000 of us normal people who genuinely tried to do something kind of impressive and just ended up with adrenal burnout and a 3-year battle with plantar fasciitis. And then of course there's social media, where every single fitness influencer wants to show you 800,000 different types of exercises to do and 62 different routines so that you can pay them to consult or like whatever, buy their program and their app. I don't even know. And because the algorithm thrives off of novelty, there always has to be something new. But when it comes to movement and exercise, you don't actually need that much. I still do basically the same routine that I've done since I was 13 years old, which is to do cardio 3 or 4 times a week. I either ride my bike or I go outside for a run/walk, where I'll jog for 4 minutes and walk for 4 minutes back and forth until I end up back home. And then I do a really simple weightlifting routine, which I've sometimes done with a gym membership and sometimes just done at home with our setup. And then I do some consistent mobility work like yoga or qigong. And that's it. I've literally been doing the same thing since I was 13 years old. And is it boring? I guess, but it gets me the results I want. I'm fit and strong enough to go hiking and do yard work. Those are the things that are important to me. And I feel comfortable in my clothes. So I know this isn't the overstimulating inspiration porn that is so popular with the algorithm, but keep it simple, sweetheart. If you like walking, go for walks. Experiment with jogging for a minute to get your heart rate up a little more. You like going to the gym? Go to the gym. You want to work out at home? Get a couple of dumbbells. You like the workout apps? More power to you. However you like to move, do it. Just know that it doesn't have to be extreme. Simple and consistent is more than enough. And with that enoughness in mind, I'm gonna go find myself some lunch. It's a bit past midday and I am ready for my lunch. So I have 2 big thick slices of my very dense buckwheat bread. The recipe video is coming. We've just really been struggling to find time to get the ingredients together and film a video with all the construction and all of the life stuff happening. Thank you for your patience. I promise you it will be worth it. So I have buckwheat bread. I put some mustard and diced up onions and nutritional yeast on top of that. I'm also going to have an apple with some almond butter on top. And then I also have a bowl of black beans. I cooked this big old Instant Pot of black beans without any kind of seasoning. So I threw in some plain old salsa from the store, which is a really great backup dressing or bean flavoring that I love to have on hand. I was planning to have adzuki beans for lunch, but somebody ate them all, and it wasn't me. But fortunately, keeping it simple to me means being flexible and finding easy ways to enjoy what's available instead of getting all hung up on those like specifics of what I need my meal to look like. Also, since I'm taking a break from my work, I took the time to fill up my little Instant Pot with beans for tonight. Those are gonna be seasoned black beans, kind of like chili bean style. Now, it might not look like it, but this is actually a very dangerous meal. For anyone who has ever nearly choked to death on nutritional yeast, you will know what I mean. I should probably actually just wet it with my beans so that I don't risk a cinnamon challenge style debacle. There we go. That's much safer. Okay, I'm going to enjoy this and go click, click, click away on my computer again for another couple of hours.
Hi, Buckwheat. No, what are you doing? Hello?
bowl of goodness will be everything that I ate today, except for several pieces of chocolate that I will probably be eating tonight under the blanket with my husband while watching The Crown. I know, I'm like 5 years behind on my TV series. Oh, hi. Does that feel like the best place for you? I don't think you can breathe directly into the microphone like that. Oh. And as the day comes to a close, this is a good time to talk about another arena of simplicity that has allowed me to be successful on a long-term plant-based diet, and that is simple rejuvenation. The wellness space is absolutely saturated with so many expensive tools and supplements and trackers and light devices. You don't want me to talk about the red light devices? Are you still hoping we're going to get a red light device sponsorship? Or do you want to do biohacking and vagus nerve stimulation? I need you to move just a little bit. Maybe come over here. No, okay. No. Bye. And I mean, I've tried some of it. I've spent my hard-earned money on some of it. I have a red light panel, full disclosure, and it's good. I mean, it has a small positive effect, but it's not miraculous like it's marketed. None of this stuff is miraculous. It all, honestly, barely adds up. You know, at this moment in our society, we are all so revved up and overburdened with responsibilities and fear for good reason at the moment, truly. And it is so tempting for our minds to believe that there is some miraculous solution that is just one credit card transaction away, but it's not true. And yet, being able to downregulate our nervous systems and come into a state of deep rest and real rejuvenation is so incredibly important to our long-term health. And I genuinely believe that this is where so many people get hung up. Plant-based diets or otherwise. We get fixated on diet and nutrients and macronutrients and micronutrients and superfoods that we forget that simply resting and allowing our nervous systems to bring our bodies back into a state of rejuvenation and well-being is really the key factor. And to be able to do that, we don't need a bunch of trackers, we don't need a bunch of devices or supplements. What we need is to build the capacity to slow down and to meet our bodies and our minds where they are right now, to build our capacity to simply be present with ourselves, which is a tall order at the moment. What we need is to give ourselves permission to clear obligations, to let go of some of this obsessive pressure to achieve, and frankly, to just lay on the floor with a tennis ball, to massage some achy muscles in our backs and take some slower, deeper breaths than usual, and maybe hum to ourselves to stimulate the vagus nerve and make some nitric oxide in our sinuses, and to take a few moments to mindfully turn towards our bodies with love and gratitude and reverence, and to make the time to genuinely connect to ourselves and the people that we love. I am of the genuine belief that we don't need much more. I don't think we need a bunch of expensive and time-consuming interventions on top of that. If you do want a gentle nudge in this very yummy direction, I do have a free guided meditation audio that you can go and download from my website. I will leave the link below. So with that, I will embrace my own life of simplicity and wind down for the evening. As always, until next time, make better choices for your precious self. No one else will do it for you. And take really, really good care. I will see you very soon. Bye. Chapter 10. The Marauders Now. Madame Pomfrey insisted on keeping Harry in the hospital wing for the rest of the weekend. He didn't argue or complain, but he wouldn't let her throw away the shattered remnants of his Nimbus 2000. He knew he was being stupid. He knew that the Nimbus was beyond repair, and Harry couldn't help it. He felt as though he had lost one of his best friends. a stream of visitors, all intent on cheering him up. Hagrid sent him a bunch of ear-wiggling flowers. It looked like yellow cabbages.
This one's for Snape.
Next he saw Harry wearing sparkly turquoise high heels. Heard his voice. A small filly water. Mine, said Professor McGonagall's voice. 4 pints of whole mead. Ta, Rosemary, said Hagrid. A cherry syrup and soda with ice and umbrella. I know you want me to be using both of my hands to pet you, not to gesture. Okay. You don't get a spoon.
Like a pig.
Did I scare you? Well,
Something wrong with your hair?
no, you weren't. You're not at all.
That's fine. I don't mind.
Is that what you have to look at?
Every day. All day.
Nice day.
I know.
My class just started. Don't bite my fingers. Ow.